Okay, cool. So what we're doing now is we're gonna go over interview prep, and then if anyone has questions, just drop a question mark in the chat. But we're starting on Rohan. He's got 3 interviews lined up for tomorrow, so we're gonna start on that. Let's share my screen. All right, cool. So closed loop marketing, and technology advice. Let's see. Cool. This the company? This the first one?
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm guessing, so this sales development representative role. So first thing for anyone, like if you haven't had your interviews yet, I always use this interview prep template, which is, I'll show y'all where it's at in school too. But this is what I use for every interview. And I pretty much will prepare this, like these couple questions. Who am I interviewing with? Do we have anything in common? Because when you start the call, you want to build rapport. Sharif, this is for you. I heard you make the most money in tech via job hopping. Without getting too personal, how many times have you job hopped? I'm probably like on my third or fourth one in tech. I'm trying to job hop again. But the best way to always increase your salary is to continue applying. So like even when you land a role, obviously you want to focus, make sure you're doing good in that role, but also keep applying because you could stay at a company and be there for 5 years. They're not going to give you a as much of a raise compared to if you took that experience and went to a new role. So that's the key to job hopping, is just always be interviewing, or if you are on a crunch for time, every 3 months or every 6 months, revamp your resume, revamp your cover letter, and then start applying for more positions just to see what the market has in store for you anyway. So that's just my 2 cents on like job hopping. But yeah, so let's actually, because Rohan, we should have an interview prep template for you. But when I'm going to prepare, I copy this and then I will go like that. And then as well, these questions, let's go back here. These questions at the bottom are questions I always ask during honestly every interview. So I always ask what the most common objection their sales team faces, especially if you're talking to a like VP of sales or sales manager. Ask about the KPIs. So what that means is like just numbers wise, how many dials they want you doing a day, cold emails, how many LinkedIn messages they want you doing, and then as well, what is the quota based on, to make sure it's not a made up number, make sure they didn't put a bunch of zeros behind it, and then two, how many reps are actually hitting that quota will give you a really good picture of the likelihood that you're going to hit that OTE number that they're trying to sell you on as well. And then we can go over like mock pitches towards the end of this call. But if you really want to stand out, asking the recruiter to do a mock pitch on the call, especially if they didn't bring it up first, is going to make you seem extremely confident in yourself, seem like you've known sales for a while, and it's going to make you the top candidate, especially if nobody else is doing that. And then finally, when it comes to the end of the interview, I always, always, always will ask questions until it goes from like a conversation to where it's just I'm just asking to get answers. Gabriel, you got a question? You might be muted. I think you're still muted. You gotta.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so um, what I want to ask is, on my resume, I have on experience. I have currently Weld University, but that's giving me a little bit of headache because they 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 told me the majority. You know what? Well, why do you have it on experience and why you don't have it in education? So what can I do there? I mean, I've been struggling in this so much that I don't know what I don't know what can I do.
Yeah, definitely. So if that comes up on the interview and the recruiter asks, like, yeah, what is Wealth University, or say it could be any program or any type of education you've done, how I would pitch that to them is, yes, while it is a educational program that I'm taking to learn more about the software sales field, there's also actionable steps and tasks that I'm doing that are extremely similar to the tasks that I would be doing in the regular daily position that you're hiring for. And again, this is why I have the job posting pulled up, because if on the job posting they're wanting you to create engaging videos, send out emails, send out LinkedIn messages in our school community, those are all things we're teaching using Wiza and Apollo IO to set up these automatic email cadences to the recruiters to get the interviews as well. Like when you're sending out those LinkedIn connections, adding a note, or sending even LinkedIn videos to recruiters, those as well are outbound or outreach touches. So that's really how I pitch it. Is I let them know, like, yeah, it's an interactive program that I'm doing. There's actionable items that I'm taking to learn the daily tasks of being an SDR, and there's other softwares that I'm learning as well. Does
Okay.
that answer your question?
So, so do you still recommend that I left that unexperienced, that don't take it out?
I would say I would leave it under. I mean, you definitely can change it and put it under education, but I still am going to be leaving like the actual lines under what I'm learning there. So if you wanted to,
Yeah.
you can, but it's
Yeah.
really up to you. Like if that's just a question that you keep getting and you'd rather change it to education and then just put the most recent experience, you could definitely do that. But that's just how I pitch it, because even like when I'm interviewing with jobs now, I'll pitch what I'm doing with creating a virtual hiring agency and with Wealth University, and let them know that I'm learning new softwares, learning new skills, but I'm also doing the outreach, doing those like cold calls and doing those emails as well.
Okay.
Because that's
No,
really
but
what
thank
matters. It's
you.
just the numbers and metrics they're looking for.
Yep.
Okay.
Dude, I got something to say about this. So I can tell you guys how I pitch, like whenever they ask me that, hey, like what is that? What is this pre-skilling program or education you're taking, right? And I'm like, you know what? Like this is how I pitch it. Ready? Gabriel, I say, yeah, it's this pre-skilling program that I found on the internet myself. It's free, so that's like the best part. I've learned a lot through that program. I've learned the everyday lifestyle of an SDR, the day-to-day lifestyle, right? I've learned, and then you just drop all the softwares you've learned, bro. Like you could use that as leverage, right? I've learned about Outreach, Salesforce, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Apollo, right? And if you're doing outreach, right, if you're sending out the sequences that Sharif just mentioned, you can even say, you know what, like I also learned about key terms. You were one of my personas. The ICP was your company. I'm using a Google spreadsheet to track every single job. You know, I've sent out a cadence, an email cadence. I'm already
Right.
performing what it takes to have this role. I just need to monetize it, right? And then you mentioned like I also learned about sales pitches, like email pitches and voice pitches, right? And boom, you seal the deal. Even if you don't know anything about like all the softwares, if you like act confident, like you know about them, like they're gonna believe you, bro. You know, just
Biggest
gotta
thing
play
is
your cards
confidence
right.
for sure.
Th- Thank you so
Vivian,
much.
let's see. Did she had her hand raised. I think it dropped her. Cool. Vivian, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I did. I was gonna add to that. Accidentally clicked join up. So that's a great point that Michael talks about, especially with the experience. What you can also do, and this is a big term in tech, they always talk about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. So you can leverage that and say, hey, I have this experience because I'm into a growth mindset. I want to make sure that I learn and expand and learn new skills. And I like to hear that from individuals who are getting into tech.
Definitely. That's facts. And then, okay, so I think we left off for the last thing, like, so closing the interview, especially Gabriel, the most important thing is still keeping that leverage. So, because when you're in one of these sales positions, they want to see how are you controlling the call, how are you controlling the conversation. So you have to be a little mindful of the time. If you're on like a 30-minute interview, once you get to, I would say about 5 minutes left is when I kind of go into like the closing questions. So I'll let them know, hey, I just want to be transparent. I am interviewing with multiple companies, but based on our conversation today and my research, your company is one of my top candidates, and I would love to move forward with you guys. What would be the next steps? And then just be quiet and literally let them say whatever the next steps are. It's going to tell you really what they think about how to interview it and how they feel about moving forward. So whether that's getting the next call on the calendar, I will try and push for that before we end the interview and just let them know, like, you've got other interviews scheduled, your calendar, your schedule's a little bit busy. Can we just get this on the schedule? And pushing for that 9 times out of 10 will get you that next interview. And then as well, like when it's time to come to the offer, I always just push for that as well. Like, when are you looking in the perfect world to have this role filled? And then I let them say whether it's the next 2 weeks, the next week, and then I will coincide and say, well, I'd be ready to get started within the next week. You're looking to fill the role next week. How can we move forward? So definitely those two things are super important when it comes to closing the interview. But yeah, I would, let me see. But yeah, I would record the interview as well. And then I always send a follow-up, like usually right after the interview, depending if we have the next call on calendar. But if they have to say like, well, maybe we need to talk to our team, or we've got a couple other candidates we're interviewing, then I'll always wait like at least a day later. And then like usually that next business day, like in the morning, I'll just follow up if there aren't next steps booked, so that you're still like the top of mind, like the first thing they see when they get to their computer and log in, or when they get to their inbox.
Okay.
But yeah,
Thank you.
let's see. You're welcome. So let's go back to, what was this technology advice? Cold prospect, find new contacts. 7 days, 62 OTE. And then as well, I will have like the job posting. I'll have like this pulled up as well. And then I will have it like half my screen here, and then half the screen will be like, if you're on a computer, just split screen it so that you can see them, and then have your notes up as well. And then prep wise, Rohan, you know who you're meeting with for this interview tomorrow?
You check right now. Megan Calazuni.
Cool. And then too, if anyone else has questions, like just drop a question mark in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, perfect. Passionate people. Okay, cool. I like this. So literally, the first thing I always do is see what we have in common. So like Rohan, they got the Black Lives Matter. I was,
Bro, I was just about
I
to say that,
personally,
bro.
yeah, I personally, I would say that like when I'm starting the interview, like, hey, like I just got a chance to look at your profile. Like I really like the way it's set up. I like your LinkedIn background banner, and just like start making conversation. She's located in Nashville. Okay, cool. And then she also has the pronunciation of her name. So even saying something as simple as that, like, oh, it was really cool. I saw how to pronounce your last name, Kalunzi. I didn't even know you could add that to LinkedIn. Like I knew you could do that, but even just playing along and like building some rapport, building a relationship, just showing that you actually went out of the way and seen their profile before and you did a little bit of research will make you stand out as well. So she's been in this role for 2 years, 5 months. Let's see what else. So yeah, let's see, copyright. Yeah, so that's what I would focus on, like right at the start of the interview. Just let them know you did a little bit of research, and then as well, question-wise. So like this is something I would add at the end of the interview, being that she's a recruiter. You don't have to, but just saying that, okay, cool, I've seen you that you've been here for 2.5 years. Like just maybe learning like what have you learned about the role or what have you learned about the team, and if you had to start over knowing what you know now, is there anything you would do different or any advice that you could give to me as a incoming potential member on your team?
Right.
Is
So
a
say
really
that
good
for the
question
end of
to.
the interview.
Yeah, so I save that for the end of the interview, right before I get ready to close it, because it then puts them into perspective of like, oh wow, they did some research, they know how long I've been here. Then they start to reflect on their time there. They reflect on all the good, all the bad, and they go back into like a kind of sentimental state of mind where you're asking them for advice if you were starting there. So you're also pitting yourself like future framing if I was a member of your team, if I was hired. So like you're just
Right.
activating a bunch of little like emotional things to where it's making the end of the interview be a good experience. You're asking personal questions and you're getting their opinion or their point of view on how the actual company is, how the role is. And then
Right.
that literally right after I ask that, they give me that advice. I take note of it. And then that's when I go into like, well, yeah, based on our conversation and like what you just said, I'd love to move forward. What are the next steps?
Got you.
Sweet.
I just took
And
note of that
then,
right now.
yeah, Michael, how's it going? We've got Michael in here too. He's the founder of Philly Tech, soon to be SaaS Talent. He's got a lot of partnerships with some different recruiters too to help a lot of you guys land some roles. Michael, you're muted.
Yeah, no, you guys are really should be psyched about working with Sharif. I'm just kind of learning more about the program here. So I'm here to answer questions if you need me to. I mean, basically, I've been in recruiting and hiring my whole life. So I work with SaaS and tech companies. So if anybody has any questions, consider this open office hours. Whatever questions you have, I could help answer them.
If you want to,
man.
Michael, give him
Thank
a
you, man.
little bit of backstory because he's been in recruiting, he's been in sales. Like, if you want to just give him a little bit more backstory about like the companies you started, the revenue you've done, just so they can kind of get like a high level of what you do.
Yeah, so we are a talent agency, right? We're a recruiting agency. So as a general rule of thumb, you should be networking and partnering with recruiting agencies, talent agencies. So that's really important to do. You should be looking for people that are, helping you get jobs. And so we work with SaaS, software as a service, and tech companies. And we have over 100 clients. And we're always looking for good early stage talent. And Sharif, are folks on here like SDRs and customer success and like what's the
Yeah, so Michael, he's an SDR currently. Vivian, she was just on here. She's customer success. And then pretty much everyone else in here is like either working towards landing their first SDR role, or they've had a little bit of sales experience or just different experiences and they're working towards landing their role in tech. So any advice that you would give like to just beginners starting out too, or for sure, like I know Michael would benefit from like sales advice or cadence advice for some more meetings too.
Yeah, when you're interviewing, right, and you're new, obviously. Most people here are getting their first SDR job, getting their first job, right? Sharif, would you say?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so this is really important. So write these things down. If these things are really important. So showing the hiring manager that you have a process to do what you do, like. So basically, whenever you're doing any job, you follow some type of process, right? So explaining to the hiring manager that you understand the role and here's a process that I would follow. I'm sure that I could apply this to whatever process you have, right? So explaining that you understand the process, right? And that you could you could adjust. The other thing is obviously tools. So whenever you're in any job, anything you're doing, you have a process and you have tools, software tools that you're using, right? And maybe you don't have experience at all, but maybe you're like, you know, I understand that there's a process. I understand that there are tools. I understand the tools, right? You know, those are really important. One. The second thing is metrics. When you're an SDR, if you say to someone, hey, I know you probably have metrics. I'm going to look to blow out those metrics. Whatever those metrics are, I'm going to annihilate those metrics. If you want us to make 50 calls a day or 75 calls a day or whatever, I'm going to do more. So when I started as an inside sales SDR when I started in 1999. I swear to you guys, there was a guy walking around the room. You have to make 80 calls a day. I swear to you, I was making 150 calls a day. I swear to God. Like I'm not like, you had lists and like, so if you say to somebody on the call, like, I'm going to learn, I'm going to be hungry, and whatever your metrics are, I'm going to blow away those metrics, right? I'm going to blow those out of the water, right? So now you're telling him you understand a process, you understand tools, you're going to blow out the metrics, right? That's what they want to hear, right? You know, you need to make 70, like how many meetings am I expected to get a week? Oh, you're expected to get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. Well, all you can do as an entry-level person is hit the metrics, right? I wouldn't guarantee, oh yeah, I'm going to get you double the meetings. No, like you're going to beat the metrics, right? So the other thing too is whenever you're getting any job, what do? You increase productivity, you drive revenue, you increase customer satisfaction, and you lower costs, right? Like any job you get in the world, those are the things you're doing all the time. Productivity increase, increase customer satisfaction, drive revenue, reduce costs. Any job, right? So if you could then apply something from what you've done in the past to that, or at least I'm going to help you increase revenue. That's my goal, because that's what they want, maybe to like, so
Definitely.
So it's so important when you're new to just explain to that hiring manager, because especially if it's an entry-level job and it's competitive, I'm telling you, if it's an entry-level job and it's competitive, you saying these things will separate you from everyone else, will separate you, right? From every other candidate. Now, let me tell you what you can do that's even more unbelievable. And it's not hard to do. Imagine you were in an interview and you showed the hiring manager your process in a few slides. Imagine you're like, hey, here's my process. And you like, it could be fucking stick figures in slides, right? But like, imagine you could just show some slides and like, here's my process, right? Here's some tools I use. This is my, like what I just said. You just create a presentation. Now think about how you differentiate yourself from every other person interviewing. Nobody's doing any of that stuff.
No.
If all else is equal, you're getting the job. If it is, unless, you know, like you're putting yourself in the best position to get the job. Right? Anybody have any questions? Like somebody asked a question earlier.
Dang, that last topic blew my mind. That's real. You're right. I love it. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, if you show the hiring manager a presentation, which is so easy to build,
It's easy.
you're just
nowadays.
you're literally just regurgitating what you know, it's like, they're going to be like, wow, this guy or gal is super. Okay, they're prepared. You know, and then obviously you need to blow out the metrics. Don't get the job and be like, oh yeah, like this, I got the job. I don't need to blow out the metrics. Like blow out the metrics, right?
Definitely.
You know,
So to emphasize, like process wise, so some things that we have in place already set up are like app tracking sheets that you guys all should be using. This is one of my app tracking sheets. And Michael, is this something like you would emphasize or even show in a presentation? Like I have a process and methodologies to where I'm super organized with the interview process. And even would you show them like the spreadsheets, a spreadsheet like this that we have created for everyone? And then as well, like talk about, like you said, mention the softwares like the Apollo IO and mention all those things. Would you put that into like just everything into a presentation?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, this is almost like, it's so funny. I had this product called a simple CRM.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Google Sheets. Like, is this kind of like, it's kind of like what this is, right? A little bit.
Yeah, pretty much just app tracking, LinkedIn connection tracking, and then like pretty much tracking the percentage of like interviews to applications to next stages.
Yeah, I mean, sure. If you show them something that applies to what you'd be doing, like if you have any type of experience, right, that the key is, say you were, say you were in customer service, like, I don't know, like, I mean, say you were like, whatever the job was that could apply to what is happening now, then you talk about it. Like this, this is good. I think this is like, I created my own, I mean, it's not terrible. Like, it's interesting. Like you're saying, oh, I literally built my own way to like find a job and here's how I do it. I don't think that's terrible, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, definitely a presentation would be better, but even like including the process of like just making sure you're organized with it, would you say that would help? Or would you, like, what are like some of the key things, maybe the top 3 key things that you would include, just in a simple presentation?
So let me give you guys again, let me give you guys a time-tested interview framework that I've been using for 20 years, right? Write this down. So when you have an interview with someone, okay, you have to take some time to prep for that interview. Okay, how do you prep for that interview? I'm sure Sharif's given you feedback on that. Okay, this is how you prep. You go to their website, right? You learn about their website. You learn about their products or services. You do that. You go to their LinkedIn profile. You review their LinkedIn profile. You Google search their name. You try to find some interesting stuff about them, articles, things like that. Right? That's your research. Now, here's the next thing that people never do this, and this is huge. Listen, now you got to do a thought experiment. You say to yourself, all right, I know my experience. I now see this person. What do I think are 20 questions they're going to ask me? Write them down. Write them down right in front on a sheet of paper. Then answer the questions. Right? Answer all the questions. Then during the interview, which is mostly remote, you have notes. Another differentiator. Do you think most people have notes during an interview? No, they don't. They're just saying whatever the heck pops into their brain. You have notes, you have questions. Hey, I put together a bunch of, like, imagine you say, I put a bunch of questions together that I think, oh, well, my, that's unbelievable. You put a bunch of questions together, I think, and then, so then again, you have this now that's your prep and your questions. Now they're going to ask you questions. You're already prepared for the questions, right? Because you've already prepared for the questions. Now, you're going to be prepared to show them something. Hey, do you mind if I prepared some things to show you? They're going to be like, what the fuck? You prepared some things to show me? Like, okay, show me, right? So then you have this stuff to show them. Then you ask questions. You always have questions. Always have questions. And then next steps. Sharif, next step, like, hey, this has been an unbelievable interview. I'm so excited. What are the next steps here in the process? What's the next thing? Oh, the next thing is you got to interview with Mary Smith. Oh, okay, great. Can we get Mary Smith in the calendar? Like, again,
Yes,
you are
exactly.
telling them you know how to already do the job. Hey, can we get Mary Smith's calendar? Like, is Mary Smith's calendar hot? No, I got to reach out to Mary Smith. Oh, okay, great. So again, you're telling them that you already know how to do the job. Right? I'm sorry that I took over your call, Sharif.
Yeah, no, that's literally,
It
was perfect. A lot of that stuff, we started the call. So Rohan is in here. He's got 3 interviews that we were prepping him for tomorrow. And I would want to get your thoughts too. So like, these are some of the questions that we were prepping him with, and we literally were walking through like the recruiter's LinkedIn profile. We were walking through like good questions to ask and really just how to even frame it. Like at the end of it, make sure you let them know you're being transparent, interviewing with multiple companies. Based on that convo though, what are the next steps? What are your thoughts on asking to do like a mock pitch?
Okay. Before the interview, right? Everybody knows who Jerry Rice is, right? Jerry
Yep.
Rice.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice, you got to look good to play good. Okay, so you need to be looking good for that interview. You need to have the camera set up so it's looking at you in a good way. The lighting is good. You're looking good, right? I've seen so much bad stuff there. So it's like you know, Gabriel, hat turned on backwards, no, right? Like nice shirt, camera facing down, nice collared shirt, right? Looking sharp, lighting in the background, right? The hat backwards right now is fine, totally fine, right? But like, you guys, you got to look awesome, right? You got to have lighting set up. You guys know how to do this. You're young, you know how to do this stuff. That's the most important thing, right? Set up the environment for success, right? Then the Sharif, ask me a question again. So the questions here.
Yep. So questions. So we were going over asking them questions about like, depending on obviously who you're meeting with, if they're in sales, asking them more about the quota, but and especially asking them to do a mock pitch on like the second interview, especially if it's somebody in sales, is something that I'm pretty big on.
Oh yeah,
because it will help you stand out.
Huge.
How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah. You got to be prepared for that, definitely. You know, they might. Well, you got to understand the process, right? If you have that recruiter interview, what are the next steps? Oh, the next steps is you meet with Mary Smith and then you do a mock interview. And then so most of the time the recruiter wouldn't do that to you. He's again, you got to understand, you got to be ready for anything. But most of the time the recruiter's checking boxes. Box, like he's just checking boxes, right? Basically based on the profile of the person that you find their LinkedIn profile, then you say, well, what are they going to ask me? What are they going to ask me? Right? The recruiter probably won't do a mock interview.
Well, yeah, so
maybe it's possible.
I'm saying like thoughts on, so not the first, like not the screening call, but say once you have this second interview and you're actually on the second interview, what are your thoughts on asking the interviewer if we can do a mock pitch? Like let them know like, hey, I prepared a little like script just as if I was going to be setting an appointment for your solution. Would you be open to doing a mock pitch?
Oh, wow. I mean,
just to stand out?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, you kind of want to let the interviewer guide. Like, that's a tough thing. If you're ready to do that, like if there's something where you could potentially stumble, like it's like you might not want to do it. Like, again, if you're new,
Yeah.
if you know how to do a mock pitch, like if you're like, oh, I got that, I know how to do that, I'm comfortable with that, then yeah. But I'm thinking a lot of newer people are like, you know, like, are you completely confident with a mock pitch? Like, it's like if you're completely like, I'm confident, I could do this, like, then do it. But if you're not, and you're just honest with yourself, like, I'm not really, like, I might stumble.
Right.
It'd be like showing a demo that like doesn't work. You know, like, it's like, hey, can I show you a demo? And the demo doesn't work. Like, you're like, oh, crap. You know, like, so I think it's okay if you feel, again, Sharif or the person feels like, I feel like a 9 or 10 on these like, I feel good about mock interviews, right? Then yes. But if you're
can I say my 2 cents?
Yeah.
So I think the game changed for me when you said, instead, like we were talking about mock pitches. You mentioned a presentation. I'd feel more comfortable saying a presentation instead of saying a mock pitch. Swap it in for a short presentation and be more comfortable with that, right? I think that's a good substitution if you don't want to do a mock pitch initially. And I think that the last thing you said about like programming a meeting, right, with the next person for the next step of the process, how you worded it, right? Like what are the next steps of the process? Can we get that in, to her calendar, his calendar, to program that? Boom, right? That's what an SDR says. So that's great. That's some great information.
Yeah.
You pretty much like laid it out pretty well. Like you mentioned, I follow this process. I'm pretty sure I can apply it to your process. I understand these tools, right? My goal, what's your goal, right? My goal is to increase the revenue, productivity, blah, blah, blah. Then if people want, they could perform a presentation, right? That's like super extra. I mean, if you want to stand out, that's definitely gonna boost your conversion to like getting the job, right? And then just close it well, like you said,
Well,
Michael. That was really good.
One thing you missed, it's okay. Thoughtful questions. Thoughtful questions. You have what I call the easy questions, like, hey, what's the environment like working here? Like, what's the culture like here? Like, what's like some easy quiz. Then it's like thoughtful questions based on the job requirement.
Yeah. Yes. The cool thing about this program is that Sharif actually has a list of questions to ask towards the end. And he also has preset questions that interviewers are going to ask you. So I remember when I first started interviewing, my first interview ever at a tech company, I was so nervous, right? I wrote down everything, every little answer, like you mentioned, and I was reading everything from each question because I was that prepared. And towards the end, I asked, like, what do you think about this interview, right? That was one of like the questions that Sharif gave us. And he was like, you know what? You kind of sounded like a robot, like reading off like the answers. Like, I feel like interviewers want to get to know the real you, right? So it's always good to be prepared with answers, but it's also good to be yourself at the same time.
So I mean, outline, right? You don't write exactly what you're going to say. You have an outline of bullets or things that you can talk about, right? In a structured way. You definitely don't want to come across a robot. You want to be a person, right? You want to be a person. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, those are great things. I mean, any other questions? Any other questions of, situations that you guys were in interviews, or, like anything like that?
I've got a question, but I already have an SDR job. I want to get another one. I would like to let you guys like ask questions first if you guys have any. Michael's got a lot of good information. You guys just saying, take advantage right now. He's spitting some sauce right now.
Years and years of experience.
I started in inside sales. I mean, like, I literally started, my first tech job was in inside sales. So
Okay, so basically, it, the questions that I have, well, they ask me sometimes questions that they are like out of that context, but they tell me, so how will you sell me a product in 60 seconds? And that gets me like, wow.
So we depend.
Somebody asked you that on an interview, like the first interview?
To be honest, it has been like for like around 4 or 5 interviews that they asked me this kind of questions, like very hard questions. So I try to answer in my way, but of course, to be honest, I don't think it's the way that they want it.
Right. So Gabriel, let me tell you as a recruiter what I'm thinking. Like, so first, where are you based?
Uh, what do you mean?
Location.
Where are you located? Where are you based?
Miami.
Miami. Okay. So again, let me just be honest here, right? Like, are you okay? Quick question. Are you, and it's okay if you're not, are you a US citizen? Yes or
I
no?
am.
Yes,
I
great.
am.
Okay, so whenever someone, a recruiter hears an accent, they might want to challenge you a little bit more. You have to just know that in your head. Just like don't be upset. Just be like the first thing is you're confident, you know your shit, you know, your English is probably your fifth language, right? I mean, it's like I work with people from India, from the, it's like, so but you have to know that sometimes when you have the accent, people might challenge you a little bit more in an interview. You just have to be ready for it, right? You just have to be ready for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so tell me your question again. Your question was, tell me your question again.
So they have asked me like, so how will you sell me something in 60 seconds?
Okay.
And that gets me, I answer, but not in the way they want for sure, because I never hear from them back.
Right. Okay. So, again, that sounds like a challenge question. Like that sounds like, to me, it sounds a little bit like a bullshit question, but like it's, again, you got to be prepared for that, right? You got to be prepared. And, you know, I would say something like, well, hey, what would you like me to sell? Right. And they say whatever they say. Right.
Yeah.
And then you just, again, you have to be prepared for that question. Like you have to have a script and a framework or something. Like that's an interesting one, right? And so, you know, I mean, like the pen, like Sharif said, right? Like, but again, like if you're not prepared for that, you're gonna fumble it. I mean, like if like I would probably fumble it right now if somebody said, "Yeah, sell me something." I'd be like, you know, like I don't know what I'm saying. So the key is, if somebody asks you that question again or something like that question, you got to have some type of framework. Okay, well, let me I'm right into it. Boom, right into it. Right? It's if your key is you did it once, you didn't do it that great. If you hear that question again, you got to nail it. You got to be ready for it. You got to practice it, right? Has anybody else had questions like that on the first? That was the first interview.
I know for sure one of our students, Marius, he's had that question on like his second interview. It's actually in school. He's got a couple of them recorded where they asked him, and we actually prepared like the sell me this pen technique before. One of the interviews they asked him like, "Hey, what's the product that you use today?" He said toothpaste. He was like, "Sell me toothpaste." So I mean, pretty much we broke it down into like 3 different,
I love it,
kind of frameworks of the qualifying questions. Obviously, you have to know what you're selling, but qualifying questions. The second thing was problem or pain, and then the last thing was just like solution to setting the appointment. So, like for example, Gabriel, that question, personally, I would consider the example of sell me this pen. So what most people will do when they're asked that is they're just going to jump into like, oh, this is the best pen in the world. It clicks, it writes in blue and black ink, it does X, Y, and Z, and they start activating like the feature benefit brain. But you don't even know why they're looking for a pen. You don't know what type of pen they have liked in the past, what type of pen they haven't liked in the past. So you really just taking that framework for the specific software solution they're selling of qualifying questions. Ask them what's motivating them to buy. Ask them what they're looking for, and then you go into problems of like, okay, tell me about pens in the past that maybe you haven't liked, or and really from there you then will kind of create a solution based on like the framing of the answers and the problems that they gave you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, like, that's great training, Sharif. Like I would need to prepare for that question, right? I mean, so that's good that you have that.
Thank you. We do. Hey, bro, if you want, we could do a quick role play. We've got like 7 more minutes.
Yeah. I will be grateful if you help me with that.
Okay, so you act as if you're the interviewer, and I'll sell you the pen then, or it could be any object. If you want it to be or you pick the object, then actually it can be a book or whatever. Just pick an object, and we'll kind of role play through it.
Okay, like my phone.
Okay, cool. Tell me about what's making you look for a new phone.
My phone is very slow.
Okay, it's very slow. And have you tried anything? How long have you been looking for a new phone?
1 month.
1 month. Okay, definitely. And I mean, what's the main like reason that you're even trying to get a new phone? Does your phone still work now?
Yeah, but it's slow.
Yeah. So what type of problems has it been giving you, being that it's slow?
Data.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about like the specific data problems. Like, are you out and maybe you can't use your GPS, or are you missing out on important calls with your family members? I mean, what does that
It,
look like?
it doesn't let me send messages. It doesn't let me download apps.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm sure that's super frustrating. I mean, how soon would you be looking to get a new phone if that opportunity came?
Right now,
Right now? Okay. I mean, and then tell me, Gabriel, what are some things that you would be looking like for in that brand new phone that would make you consider making that decision today?
um, anything right now.
Anything. So you're telling me there's anything about the new phone. Is there anything specific that you're looking for? Any
Anything,
colors, features? It's
anything
just
that is
that.
anything that is working right away. Anything that works right away.
Okay, anything that works right away. And then, I mean, what would the next like 2 months look like if you had to keep using that slow phone?
My life easier.
Your life would be easier if you had to keep using the slow phone, or harder?
Uh, what's your question again?
I mean, what would your life look like if you had to keep using the slow phone?
Oh, my life will be harder.
Harder. Okay. And then you said just as long as it's speed, there's no specific color,
No
nothing
specific
about it
color.
as long as it's speed.
Yeah, as long as speed, as long as let me download apps, let me make calls, let me send messages. I'm fine with it.
Okay. Perfect. That being said, if we had a new phone that we could get shipped to you overnight and it could be in your hand tomorrow and it was fast, brand new, would you be ready to take action today?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get you started then. That was easy. You didn't give me any objections. That's
Nice.
really all it is. Just ask questions,
Thank you.
figure out what their problem is. And then from there, like whether it's a business that may be slow revenue, just find out like what are they missing out on, or what's making them need that action, and then sell the result.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a little framework too, Sharif, to help. Goals, challenges, requirements. Goals, challenges, requirements. What are your goals? What are your problems, challenges? What are your major requirements you're looking for? Right. And then based on those things, you make based on everything you're saying, I would recommend this. How do you think? How do you feel about that? And then the objection handling, right? It's like, no, but Sharif, that was good, man.
Thank you.
That was good.
Last question too. I had what are your thoughts on, because I've been starting to split test, like sending out a resume with a professional headshot that matches the one I'm using on LinkedIn, so that when I'm reaching out with recruiters, they recognize the face and name, or just a like blank resume with no screenshot that's just all words. What do you say, coming from like a recruiter's kind of point of view, headshot resume versus like blank resume? If it's
Yeah,
done
I
well.
mean, yeah, I think the more graphical, like a one page. There is something. There is a term out there in the industry which is called user experience. User experience, and everybody has seen these resumes. You've seen a resume it's formatted good, but it's all words and bullets and stuff like that. It looks all right, right? Great. And then you've seen these resumes that are like colorful. They've got like a picture. They got like a bunch of bullets, or they've got like
Yeah, too many
yeah,
cuteness over.
yeah. I mean, it's if you're trying to interact with the person on LinkedIn or whatever, I would send them the graphical. If it's going to go into their ATS and they're like a pretty big company, you might want to do the data driven like, the more data and stuff like that. If you're, so those are my thoughts. Just having a picture, and that thing is good if if you have a good feeling that a human is going to be looking at it.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Because I've got, let me see if I can show you like because there's two templates I've kind of been, this is like a older kind of version of the template that's similar.
Great.
Then the new one that our students have been testing looks, let's see, like this. So still kind of optimized for keywords, and then just the exact same picture you have on your LinkedIn profile, so they can resonate.
Yeah, your resume template, Sharif, is optimal. You should having a professional summary or objectives at the top or whatever. That's always good. Again, the key to a resume, and I'm going to say these, I just said these things before, metrics, right? How did you increase productivity? How did you reduce costs? How did you increase revenue? How did you increase customer satisfaction? Bullet, 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 bullet. Like, even if you have to somewhat do some resume creativity, as long as you can support what the statement, right?
Definitely, I agree. Gabriel, you had another question?
Yeah, for you, in case you have a chance, when we end, can you check my resume?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
I,
It should be in my email.
and also for you, Michael, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So you see that I have an accent, and in some interviews, some people they speak very fast, super fast on English. That I had to ask, excuse me, can you repeat the question? And I think it's very annoying to them. So what do you think will be a way that sounds more professional? Do you think I should tell them, uh, you know what, my, I don't know, like,
I'll give you my thoughts. So I have a team in Latin America, right? So I have a team of people in Latin America. As Gabriel, as much as this, you gotta freaking go out and practice your English like crazy, right? Like you gotta, you're not gonna be able to get, like, if somebody's talking to you and you don't capture it just like that, that's going to hurt you. And you know that, right? So it's like, you got to go out and practice that. You got to be going out, practicing your English, going to meetups. The best place to go to meetups in Miami, go to tech meetups in Miami.
And in Miami, it's hard. Everybody speaks Spanish in Miami. Even in corporate jobs that I've been having here, everybody speaks Spanish. It's funny.
If you go to a tech meetup, or you go to a meetup or something, like, I don't know, maybe people be speaking Spanish, like, but but you got to go at the end of the day, Gabriel, you got to go places where you're practicing your English. Like you got to be like going on. That's all you could do.
Oh, hey, about that, there's this cool app called italki, and it allows you to speak to native speakers of any language that you want to learn, and they'll like literally talk to you for an hour for like $5. So like if you want to better your English, dude, download that app, italki. You know, it's really good. Yeah, no problem, man. It's really good. I want to learn Korean, so like maybe I'll pick it up,
Yeah. So what I would say about this resume, Gabriel, my initial impression, right? What's that? No, I mean, your business objectives and your summary, right, at the top, right? And it's okay. Like when you have your education at the top, it's basically telling someone, I'm junior. Like, and that's okay. Like there's but most of the time you want to put your education at the bottom, right? You want to take the education, you want to move it to the bottom, and you want to take that education section and put objectives. What's your aim? What's your objectives? What's your what are those things? Right?
Perfect.
Definitely. I would too, as well, like metrics for all of these roles if you want. So I'll show you too in school, like where we've got the new resume template. There's a couple of videos I have with some of the students, like of us creating a complete resume, like hour-long videos. But for all these roles, I would just go through. So like for the Glow Touch, how many calls were you making a day? Like what did the KPIs, like those dials look like? How many meetings were you set? TurboTax. I'm sure you had, even if you were just doing like the technical support, maybe you had to like transition that and collaborate with other team members. But there's definitely maybe a piece of revenue that you could have helped either generate or save. Definitely include those numbers.
5 things, 5 bullets, metrics. How did you increase productivity? How did you drive revenue? How did you increase customer satisfaction? How did you reduce costs? Right?
Thanks.
And the other thing is, it's so awesome that Wealth University is up there. Put present. That's so cool that that's actually a job. You've been present, to present, maybe. Make sure you have present there, right at the top.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So is that 822? Have you been in the program for a year, or is that 823? I can't really look at it. That's awesome.
For a year.
Dude, that's so money. That is so great. So no, that is, I just love that. So to present, right?
Actually, Sheriff, for his age, is been very patient with me. I wouldn't never had the patience at his age.
Hey, no worries.
No, I mean, I gotta tell you guys, everybody that's ever in recruiting has always said to themselves, how do I help all these people that I'm helping for basically for free most of the time? Like, again, how do I do this? Like, and then Sharif just went out and built Wealth University. Like, it's awesome. I mean, everybody's figured like, okay, geez, like these people are calling me all the time. They want help with resume. They have questions. Like but it's a service that's needed.
Definitely.
So that's
sir. Great. This program is really good, man. Like it changed my life. Like I'm literally living in Mexico right now, and like I'm working remotely, right? Like I'm able to make calls throughout my day and crush it, setting appointments. I was gonna ask you, Michael. Like I wanted to ask you, if I want to land a second job, how do I angle like my proposition when I'm interviewing? Like if they say, oh, you're working for this company, like why are you looking to like work with us, right? Like how do I kind of like sugarcoat looking for a second job while still performing at max level?
So you tell people that, hey man, first off, what I've noticed about people in Latin America is they hustle. It's a huge hustle culture, right? you say to people, I'm looking to maximize my work. I'm looking to do more, right? I'm interested in doing more hours. I'm going to do my other job, right? I'm going to do more work for you. Like, you got to be a little bit careful, right? But you're working multiple jobs, right? I mean, you got to be a little careful. Like, you got to be a little careful with that, right? Like, if you're working for this job and you're like, hey, I do this job like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, like I could work for you Wednesday, Friday. I could do some work on Saturday. Like, the thing about lead generation, I used to tell my team, like, recruiting, lead generation, like, do it while you're fucking watching football on Sundays. Like, and you're in your underwear watching football, like, just do it. Like the time that people are looking at shit is like night and weekend anyway, right? So it's like you got to be, again, I would just say, Michael, you got to be a little careful, like, communicate that you're, hey man, I'm trying to hustle. I'm trying to do better for myself, for my family. Like, I'm excited. I want to do this. I love it. Like, they cannot hurt you for being like just excited and pumped, right? It's like, so your current job, how many hours do you work?
Like, I can crunch up some good hours for like max 3, like a day.
3 a day?
Yeah, I just make 50 dials a day, but my goal is to schedule an appointment. I'm at a point where like I'm really good at setting meetings.
Jeez.
So
maybe I should hire some of these guys, Sharif. Jeez.
Hey,
Yeah,
got plenty.
3
like
hours.
3 or
You
4
work
or
3 hours. You work 3 hours. Yeah,
like 3 or 4. Right. That's why I'm
right. So
for
tell the
job,
guy,
like,
yeah, I work 3 or 4 hours a day for this one company. Right. I have another 3 to 4 hours each day available. Like, you tell them, you simply just to communicate, I'm working 3 to 4 hours a day. I have another 3 to 4 hours each day to do it. Okay, right.
nice. Just be honest then.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
straight
You
up,
fit it in your
be honest.
calendar. It's like, yeah, I could do 3 or 4 hours from like 12 to 4 o'clock. Maybe you're not making phone calls, but it's like interesting. So for 3 hours a day, what are you doing, Michael? Like, explain to me, like, what's the job?
I just reach like the directors of hospitals and I connect with them and I just tell them like, hey, like, this is what we do. We're healthcare oriented. Our software is healthcare oriented, and most of the time they're like interested because like their software sucks, right? So it's easy to like program some meetings and stuff. And then my KPIs are just like 50 dials a day, like whether they answer or not. So 50 is nothing. Like, you were doing 150.
You're on a dialer?
I don't know.
You're on a dialer?
No, I'm using HubSpot. Not like an automatic dialer. I have to, dial myself. Like, there's automatic dialers, but I manually do it. Yeah.
Do you make more money if you get meetings?
Yeah, it's commission based with the space salary, right?
Okay, so are you leveraging any type of sequence when you do your?
No, I'm not at all. Like,
Okay, so let me give you a little trick. Okay, it's so easy. You leave voicemails.
Yeah, I leave, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so I did this all the time. It's super easy trick, right? You call, you leave a voicemail, right? Then you send somebody an email, and that's the subject line of that email is my voicemail dash. Can we set up a quick call? Right? People appreciate hustle. I just left you a voicemail. Benefit, customer. Let's set up a call. Like, so my voicemail dash 15-minute call question mark. My voicemail 50, right? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Send an email right after you leave the voicemail. Boom, email, right?
Yeah.
People appreciate. They appreciate
Love
that.
that.
I'm telling you, like, I made so many phone calls, left so many voicemails, but you create a sequence, right? Let me give you the sequence things. Email, right?
Mhm.
LinkedIn Connect, LinkedIn Message, liking posts. Like these are all the things you can do. I'm not saying do all of them. I'm just saying the different things in your sequence that you can do, right?
LinkedIn videos too convert really well.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Like, so like what I would do, Michael, is just start with my voicemail dash in the subject line, my voicemail. I just left you dash 15-minute call question mark. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I just left you a quick voicemail. We do this benefit, customer. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I love inside sales, guys. I love it. SDRs are money.
That's so cool. Yeah, I've been hassling Sharif about like sequences for SDRs. So it's funny that you bring that up. Like that, I've been wanting to tweak my I want to create a sequence like that optimize my whole process, right? So I like that you mentioned that. I'm gonna use that and test it out. That'd be cool if we had like email scripts for SDRs once people land a job, because I'm pretty sure Sharif was crushing it. I don't know if you're still working as an AE or SDR, Sharif, but like your email sequences that you provided us with Apollo are money, man. Like they landed me so many interviews, and people think I'm typing out these emails like manually. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's money, man. I mean, it's awesome. I love this stuff. It brings me back to the good old days. Like I was making 1999. I'm like 50. I'm like 49 years old, right? So I'm really psyched I was able to give value. I know we went all over a lot of time here, but psyched. Like definitely, Sharif. Thanks for inviting me to this call. Sorry I
Definitely
was a little late.
appreciate you. No, everyone, make sure I see you dropped your LinkedIn in the like chat too. Everyone connect with Michael on LinkedIn too. But let's see, because I've got some more time. I don't know how long everyone wants to go, but if anyone needs like some more additional help after, let me know, because I think Najma needed some help with resume help, but
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate you, Michael, for helping us
I'm
out.
gonna, Sharif, when you're done, hit me up, call me up. I'm driving home now. I got about a 30-40 minute drive. Yeah, let's chat, guys.
Okay.
Guys, awesome. Now, Splay, is it Spice has a question? Maybe I will finish with that. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, with these IT jobs, can you get into like other jobs such as data security, data analysis, all that other stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my assumption is, Sharif, is everybody generally speaking an entry level SDR here? Like entry level or?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you should be able to apply this stuff to any IT services job or any SaaS job or any, just any, really freaking any job. I mean, like, I guess if you, is Sharif, is the goal here too to get a IT tech, IT services SaaS job?
Because I think he was saying at least in the messages, it said like, do these sales jobs give access? So I'm thinking like he's saying after breaking into the entry level SDR job, like to go to the next position, maybe like to be able to kind of, because I have had some
sales.
people like start in sales, and then is that what you're asking, Spice? Like start in sales and then transition to different IT
Yeah,
related?
absolutely. Yes.
Well, what is your goal to get into what?
Data analysis.
Okay. Data
But
analysis.
but I don't mind getting into IT sales if I do qualify with the skills. I'll do it. But right now, the main plan or the original plan was to just do data analysis.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, hyper target BI and data analytics companies. There's so many of those.
Yeah.
It's insanity. You know, so like business intelligence, BI and data analytics, there are thousands of those companies that basically do Tableau. So Tableau is the main software, Power BI, Click, right? Tableau and Power BI, right? So you're trying to identify companies, IT services companies that do Tableau and Power BI, data and BI and analytics. Like it's like there are thousands of those companies that need great SDRs.
Yeah.
Like, but you just gotta, again, it gets back to using your skills to hyper target those companies. Like, I don't know if you've taught people, Sharif, how to, like, are they just applying to jobs, or are you teaching them how to hyper target right into a company?
Yeah, so we've got a mix of both. Like we've got I use Wizza personally to build my list on LinkedIn, but
Yeah.
there's a video in school under, I believe it's under like LinkedIn optimization techniques. But yeah, we have a video in there going over like how to hyper target, like if you're list building, to grab like and pull their info and just find like a list of like just specific companies in these industries as well.
Yeah. So Splice, does that help you? Like you got to identify. I mean, if your goal and your dream is to work for a data and analytics company, focus on that. There's tons and tons and tons of those companies.
Yeah, that answered my question perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, just do Google searches like, where do you live?
I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow, Lancaster, nice. I'm in Philly. So basically, if you just did Lancaster in Google, Lancaster, Tableau, services, you would find companies. Like, Lancaster, Power BI, services. Like searches like that, you would find the companies. There are definitely companies out there. I actually know some of them, but like connect with me on LinkedIn too, definitely.
Yeah, make sure everyone, let me pull your LinkedIn up too. But yeah, it's in the chat as well. Everyone connect with Michael. I know you said you've got to run soon and we're getting closer to the end of the hour. Any more last minute questions?
Oh, cool. You go to 7. Does it go to 7? Like I could stay till 7.
Yeah, we can go to 7. Any last minute questions?
Yeah, you guys spoke about resumes and stuff, but since I'm brand new, I don't quite know where to start.
Okay, yeah, let me actually, I'll
Yeah.
pull up the school for you real quick and show you.
I need assistance with the resume as well. Like, if you could show me how to edit the Canva, I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Here, let me pull it up.
Thanks.
And then,
And can you send us your email so then once we do our resume, we can send it to you?
let me drop that in the chat too.
Michael,
Yeah.
so you told me 5 things that I should put on my resume. You told me metrics, the reduced cost, and what were the other
Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
My
So
apologies.
how the metrics that you hit, how you help the company increase productivity, how you help the company increase customer satisfaction, how you help the company drive revenue, how you help the company reduce costs, right? That's just a framework. Sometimes you don't have everything for those things. Like but you basically give an explanation, like, hey, when I could give an example, like when I started, they weren't generating any lead. I mean, you guys are all entry level, so I'm trying to figure out, Work with Sharif on it. Those are
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Resume wise too, for if you guys are just starting. So resume creation tab is gonna be like your best friend. So this is a video that just goes over like my resume, a couple of the resumes I've created, and like what's important about numbers, metrics, the professional summary, like pretty much just the why behind it. And then the template is right here. So like Najma, to get access to it, what you'll have to do, because yeah, I see. So you requested this template. You have to first make a copy. So I would just go here, then you make a copy, and then from here, lock, unlock, and then you can begin like editing everything, moving it around, and pretty much just kind of make it your own. And same with like Gabriel as well. So literally go, if we go right back to school under resume creation, I would start and just start converting everything on like your resume you have now to the new resume. I definitely would check these videos out. There's an hour-long one of like me actually creating it and then even making the cover letter too. But the template is right there, and like I said, all you got to do is make a copy.
Yeah. I gotta actually something to show you real quick here, guys. Let me help out here. So here's the key with this sort of thing. I have used platforms like School before. When you find something that's awesome, right, you should check with Sharif, but like you put it in the community to help all the other people, right? And then Sharif can kind of look at it. But like, again, like Google is your best friend. Top SDR resume templates, right? Sponsored. Those are all, you know, for the most part stuck. Then the first thing here, right? Like, you with me? So what I'm saying is check with Sharif on this stuff, right? Because it's his, but like Google's designed to tell you what most people click on, right? So like they you know what I'm saying? You guys get it, right? It's like you literally like everything is there. There's almost, when I was younger, there was no information. You know, we had to go to the library and pull out you know, it's like now there's too much information, right? It's like when you find something good, right, and you do a search on Google, maybe everybody knows we do a search, like that's the most searched thing for that topic, right? Like, so you go, so what was the girl's name that asked that question? So it's like you're
Najma.
Yeah, I mean, like just ask it a question, right? I mean, it's like but if you find something that's good, put it in School. Hey, Sharif,
Please.
I found this. Is this good? Like, and yeah, that's great. You know, like that's, or no, that sucks, right? It's like, I'm just giving examples of what we do all the time, right?
Yeah, please, if you guys find anything, put it in School, or if someone else has a question and like you know the answer, definitely answer it in School. Definitely, like the more resources that we can all compile and split test and try out, the better.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's so amazing, Sharif, for what you think is common knowledge is just not, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, it's like, you know, you think, oh yeah, it's easy to build a resume. No, people don't know how to do it. You know, it's like,
yeah.
So did that help? Did that help you there?
Yes, thank you.
Is your name not Najma?
Yeah, Najma.
Najma. Cool.
Yeah.
So Sharif, call me when you're done.
Sweet. I'll give you a call.
This was so awesome. Let
you.
me get on the calls. I'll get on the calls and help every week. So I'm glad I joined, man. So give me a ring when you're done.
Okay. I'll be done in like 4 minutes. I'll give you a quick call.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you again, Michael.
Thanks, everybody.
That was so good. Thank you, Michael.
Bye.
Thank you, Sharif.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you guys for joining and sticking around.
Michael.
Perfect. Cool.
Wait, so
Any-
Sharif, yeah. So can you help me on starting?
Yeah, so first thing I would start on, like I said, is so on Classroom, we've got these are like I'll say older videos, but I recorded like all of these in January. This is really like step by step of the entire process. And then from there, each section afterwards is like a deep dive into it. So this is a deep dive into resume creation with the newer template that you see we're using. So I literally would just walk through these videos. And then secondly, we've got like the LinkedIn optimization one. So making a banner like on Canva. This one goes over just all of the content and how to have like a creator profile on LinkedIn so that you'll get more followers. Say that again.
That was my brother in the background.
Oh, okay, all good. So yeah, I would literally start with the resume creation. That's the first thing. Get that knocked out, and then when it's done, you can share it with me. Let me put my email. I'll put it in this chat, but I'll also put it in school too. And like, if y'all have questions, don't hesitate to just put a message on school, drop them on school, because I'll be able to answer it. And then we've got all the other mentors who can answer it. But yeah, start on resume creation as you kind of go through the process. Like I know we talked about building out that list. So this is the free tool called Wizza that I actually use. So for an example, if I wanted to pull for info with this tool, you get like 50 free credits a month. And then emails right here. And I would just like me and Rohan, we built a list together for his Apollo for the recruiters that we were automatically emailing. You can just add them to a list and then export the CSV for free. So there's videos on reaching out to the recruiters. I don't want to throw too much at you at once, but as well, like different sites outside of LinkedIn to apply on. And then from there is just interview prep. But the first thing for sure is just resume, LinkedIn, making sure it's optimized so that you can get on the interviews and get the attention of the recruiters.
Okay, that's perfect. You laid everything down for me to understand perfectly.
Sweet, sweet. Any last minute questions? We got like 60 seconds.
Nah.
Nope, nope. All right, well, cool. Appreciate y'all for staying on. Today was probably the best live session we've had so far. Most people who joined, I'm glad we got a lot of questions answered. For sure, every week we're gonna have this one like 5:30 to 6:37, honestly, whenever. And then I'll probably try and add like just one more session in this week at a different time so we could get some more people on. But appreciate y'all, and shoot, I'm about to get out of here.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you too. This was good.
Hey, of course, more coming. I'm gonna see if I can get some templates for you too, but definitely I will get that cadence. And I've still been trying to get into like my old login, so I'm gonna see if I can get my old ones. But if not, I'm gonna just make some new ones. I need some new ones anyway. So
Nah, you're good. I know you're so busy. Like I've seen your calendar. It's
yeah, bro.
insane.
Look, my junk. I'm about to
Like,
show you. My junk has been.
your work ethic is crazy. So and you're very humble. Like your time is valuable. So I understand. But yeah, if you can find it, like that'd be cool. If not, I'll try to use what I have, like what Michael said today. Like I'll try to test that.
Yeah, dude, his tips were gold. Yeah, my calendar's been, bro, it's been crazy this week. I had like a video go viral, so like I've been like just booked, but I'm gonna get to it eventually.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah,
But
don't worry about it.
appreciate y'all. And shoot, Rohan, I'm about to shoot you a text too, and then we'll go from there. Let me know, Gabriel, once you got that resume kind of fixed up, and then just shoot that to me too. And yeah, I'll see y'all. Hit me up on school or wherever.
Okay, so I'm gonna work in that right now. And thank you so much.
Of course.
Oh,
All right.
Sharif,
Mhm.
my bad. I wanna ask you about the cover letter. Do 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 I need to work on the cover letter?
So what you can do in this video on school, literally just watch this entire module, but especially this video, because at the end of it, I use ChatGPT to create the cover letter just by copy and pasting the resume, and then you'll get all of those keywords like right here. I use ChatGPT. I have the prompt and everything, and you'll get all of those keywords in the resume and in the cover letter. And then literally you can just have it like put together perfectly, but you don't have to actually type out the cover letter yourself. ChatGPT will do it for you.
Okay. Okay. So can I copy? Can I copy and paste the cover letter in
Yeah. So what it'll look like, literally, you'll copy and paste it and attach it as a PDF, and it'll look like this. And then you're gonna get all those keywords. But I would start with these videos, and then once you knock these out, you'll be in a pretty good spot. And then later you can just send it to me, and if we need to make any changes to it, I got you.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Of
I really
course,
appreciate it.
of course, bro. Appreciate you asking all those questions and like helping liven up the call. So I appreciate it, bro.
Okay, thank you. And I'm so sorry that the other last year I was very upset, but I just was stressed. I just was very stressed, and I really apologize.
Yeah, no, bro. I understand completely, bro. I'm glad, bro. We're gonna help you until you get where you want, bro. And then once you get there, like even with Michael, he's gonna land his second job. So we got you, bro.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course. Have a good one, Gabriel.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.